we're going to do a quick demonstration about the selection tools for anybody that's having trouble with that. Noting all of the selection tools that we're going to be using are up in this top area of our toolbar, right? We've got our lasso tools. Clicking and holding, you find polygonal and magnetic lasso. They work differently in that the lasso tool, regular lasso tool, works freeform, and you have to have really good mouse control to make that work. Otherwise, you're going to go all over the place. Right? If you select something you don't want, you have a couple choices. You can either use Shift to add to your selection. If you can see here below Grover's hand, or our Beard King Grover's hand, you get a plus when I hold Shift. There's that. You get a minus when you hold Alt. There's the minus. Okay? Minus will take away from any areas you don't want, as long as you close them up. Like this little guy down here. Another cardinal mistake I'm making right now is I'm trying to do a selection from this far away. So you want to zoom in on what you're trying to select. Get close. Get up close and personal so you can see what you're doing with this weird folded up hand that I'm trying to select. So that I can use my lasso nicely. Again, I'm minusing here with Alt to take this area out. And then I'll Shift to get little areas in. And just, you know, if you've got decent hand control, that regular lasso tool is awesome. The polygonal lasso works slightly differently, and then it selects based on straight lines. Again, I'm holding Shift to add to my selection. Everywhere I click, it's going to add another little point. Now, it's not super great for rounded corners like this, because it's only going to do them in straight lines that have angles to it. But you can get fairly precise with that. Just double click to close it up. The magnetic lasso is going to work when you have, again, I'm holding Shift to get the plus. It's going to work really well. You just click once to get it started where there's contrast between the edges. But as you can see where it's a lighter background, it has trouble finding things. Double click to close. It didn't want to find this little edge of that fingernail because there's not a tremendous amount of contrast or difference between this white and the background, so it didn't want to find it. So the magnetic lasso, like our magic wand, which we'll get to in a second, works really well when there is contrast and not as well when there's not so much contrast, so you can't find that edge. You can help it along by clicking, but again, it works much better, I'll show you in a second, when we don't have a colored background, right? So let's just finish this guy up real quick. I'm going to switch back to my regular lasso and just Shift select in. No, I don't want this black sleeve, so I'm going to Alt take this out. Just want this really weird hand to kind of get added onto our composite person we're making over here just for fun. Shift select that back in and Alt this back out. You can Shift and Alt adding and taking away from your selection all day long. Alt, take that thing out. Shift, get that guy in. Just make a circle around it, nice and quick. Alt, clean up this edge. This is one of the most important things you can learn to do in Photoshop, is do selections. Now, later on in the course, I'm going to show you guys about masking and how you can take parts of this image away without destroying it. But for right now, we're just going to do our select inverse, making sure we're on the right layer, which I'm not, because this should be going away. Let's see. That one? Nope, that one. Where is it? This one? Who knows? Turning these things on and off. There we go. That's the right layer. So I select that one. Let me zoom out. Make sure I don't get anything else deleted. Select inverse and hit delete on my keyboard. All right. Now I can deselect and Control T to transform. Whoa, we're jumping around here. Shift and hold from the corner. Just go outside the corner to rotate. I'm just mousing a little bit outside the right corner to rotate. And then, I don't know if this is gonna... We'll get it the right size for the wrist, and then we'll just have to delete the rest of the hand. Of Grover's hand. There we go, that's pretty good. See if we can auto-select layer, just click on that guy. Whip around him real quick. And I can delete that. Alright, now our other selection tool we were talking about, the magic wand, works really, really well for stuff like this background white. Okay? I just clicked on the white, and it's selecting based upon color similarity. And that's, the amount of similarity is done up here in tolerance. If you want it to be even more white, because you see it didn't select these guys all along the edge here. Let me switch over to my hand tool, which is nice for moving around the screen. If I go back to my magic wand and I bump up that tolerance to say, 35, just guessing a higher number, right? And I double click again, notice it's got a lot more of the white. Didn't quite get all of it, but it got a lot more of it. This blue is very different from the white, so I'm going to go even higher. Let's try 50. And again, click on and off. That's pretty good. That's going to delete most of that white. And now it's almost all gone, right? And my hand looks so much more fantastic there without that. Same thing's going to go for the feet. With my move tool and auto select layer selected, I can just click on that, see it jump right to the right layer for it. Take my magic wand. That's got most of it. Buried underneath the magic wand is quick selection. I can just hold shift and quickly select that and delete. That way you don't have to do the select inverse. Deselect. Rectangular marquee is a great way to separate. Oh, that's got my elliptical. Rectangular marquee, there it is. It's a great way to separate an image. Both of these are part of the same thing. I just whip a rectangle around it real quick. Control X to cut it. Control V to paste it. Now it's on its own layer. And I can move this one separately from the other. Control T. Spin it. There we go. Just trying to line up the width of my ankle with Grover's leg. Make it look like he's wearing a human sock. And then click back on Grover to auto select his layer. Quickly whip around this with my lasso and delete. Alright, so there's your selections tutorial. Right click, select magic wand, 3 lassos, and marquees are really great, especially these two for selecting things fast, or if you need something that is a square or a perfect circle, just hold shift with those and you will select a perfect square or a perfect circle. Well, that thinks I'm adding to it, but deselect. Now holding shift gets a circle. Got it? Get it? Got it good.